Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Disney Rank, the podcast where we're reviewing Disney movies and putting them on the big rank board. I'm your host, as always, Lewis, and co-hosting me, of course, is Amber. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
Hi. So once again, it's been a little bit.
Isn't it always a little bit?
Yeah, every so for 2 months in a row, we've now failed the three episodes a month. But it's all right. Oh,
We got
I,
stuff to do. We got school.
yeah. It's 2021, not 2020, people.
It's not even like
Yeah.
COVID
So
summer. We literally did one every week.
yeah, but anyway, this year, not this year, this month, I believe. Wait, what is that with me? This month, I believe we can do it. It's April. We're only a couple of days in. We've already got one. We can manage another one. Come on.
Yeah, come on. We
But
can try.
let's get on to this episode. So we're going to try and make this one under 45 minutes.
We're gonna try. We're not
But
gonna rush, but we're gonna try.
it's unlikely. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at everyone's favorite Marvel film. I put that in quotation marks. Captain Marvel, the 2019 film starring the amazing actress Brie Larson,
Oh
Samuel
my
L.
god.
Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, and some other people that I'm not going to try and pronounce because you've got, of course, Jude Law in there. You've got someone called Ben. You've got you've got Ronan's in the film, I think. Monica Rambeau. I'm just naming characters now.
I know.
I can't be bothered to name all the cast. I'll just say half of them wrong, and everyone's gonna cringe. So let's get on to this episode. So yeah, we'll start off as always with how you're first introduced to Captain Marvel. You can go first.
Okay, so 2018 was the year where I remember. So I was in. It's not a long story, but it's a story. So I was in
Okay.
Washington D.C. I was in Washington D.C. and we had a tour book to go to the White House, and unfortunately the White House tour was canceled because there was 3 inches of snow. Oh my god.
Oh no.
So but luckily the day wasn't that bad. We found our way. We found ways to entertain ourselves, and at the end of the day, we decided we'll watch the new Marvel film Black Panther. At this point, I wasn't a big Marvel fan, but since it was getting so popular, I knew what it was. Like I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming with my cousins, but I hardly knew what was going on. So we watched Black Panther and I freaking loved it. I thought it was amazing. And then I realized that there was this whole Marvel universe. And then of course Infinity War came out, but I was already watching all the movies. I was obsessed with it. And then Captain Marvel rolled around and I was really excited for it because this was going to be the film before Endgame. That's really how I knew it for like a year. If just the film before Endgame.
I think that's what everyone remembers it as.
Yeah. Since I was so excited, I got by the way, all the stuff I still have. I got a Captain Marvel sweatshirt, a Captain Marvel popcorn basket, and I think a Captain Marvel cup as well because we were so excited. We saw it the day it came out in a very nice theater. I wasn't disappointed, but it wasn't as hyped as I thought I was gonna be. And then I actually saw it again with my mom like a few weeks later because we went to Yellowstone and we saw it on this humongous screen, like it better than 4D. It was literally like it's the screen you would go to for a 4D theater. It filled a whole wall. It was huge.
You were ready for this film to be incredible.
I really wish it was something. I really wish we were watching like Endgame or something, but no, it's
Yeah, but I've got a more boring story. So, as I've said many times in this podcast, I first got introduced to the whole MCU universe when all the Infinity War hype was around, and this was the first Marvel film I saw in cinemas. So I was super excited for it, to finally see. Because I didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp. I kind of got into it during like July, August in the summer, and I watched like all the films apart from Incredible Hulk, which I still haven't seen to this day because
I've seen every one of them, and let me tell you, Incredible Hulk is the only one I fell asleep at.
I fell asleep to it. God, yeah, I'm not even going to bother with that one.
And it was 2
And
p.m. I wasn't even tired.
yeah, I went to see this one with one of my neighbours who's also a big Marvel fan, and at first I quite enjoyed it, mainly because it was like seeing a Marvel film on the big screen, but it did not hold up as well the second time round. I'm telling you.
Yo, I'm telling you, I thought especially because it was such a huge screen, like just imagine 3 walls and it just filled the entire place. It was huge, the screen. And I thought for some reason it was going to be better than the first time. I was very wrong. If anything, it was more boring this time.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, I was like,
But
I had this. Yeah,
I actually recently, this is why I really wanted to do this review, because I actually recently just rewatched the film, say like 2 months ago, because my dad had it on. Because my dad, he likes Marvel as well, and he'll just play like any random Marvel movie. He's probably seen Endgame like 30 times.
Oh, God,
And
I've seen it 8 times, so I've seen 24 hours worth of Endgame.
oh my god, Sam, I've seen it like at least 15 times. Like my dad's probably seen it more, but he's probably fell asleep at it more. But you know,
It's up there with Hamilton and Toy Story 3 and Finding Nemo. It's one of my most rewatched
oh,
films. But
absolutely.
I
But I was
have
gonna
this
say,
thing where I go to the cinema where at first, every film I see, unless it's the Lion King, I'm like, this was really good. But it takes me a few hours to like think about it and watch reviews before I make my judgment.
yeah.
When I first come out of a movie, like Frozen 2, I first thought was better than the original, and that definitely was not true. But let's get on to this review as we're like 6 minutes in.
Yo, but
Now,
as I was saying though,
yeah,
I went. So before we get started, let me just say this. So it seems like I really don't like this film. Well, I haven't mentioned yet that 2 months ago, my dad was rewatching Captain Marvel because I'll tell you a little later, and once we get into Disney news segment, and I was
yeah.
watching it, and I was like, this isn't as bad as I thought. So that's what we're going to be
Yeah,
talking about
for
today.
me with this movie, I think it's the most overhated Marvel film. People put it down there with the first two Thors and Incredible Hulk and Iron
Yeah.
Man 2, and I think it's definitely above a few of those. It's far from great, but I think this film gets a lot of hate, and all of the hate that Brie Larson gets is really unnecessary. And like how we jumped right into James Corden last time, I feel like we should jump right into Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. That kind of is the hot topic of the film, and
Yeah.
what do you think of Brie Larson's Captain Marvel?
Well, so I actually, when I first saw it, the main thing I didn't like about the movie was just Captain Marvel herself. I just didn't like her at first, and when I first saw her, I was like, I didn't really like Brie Larson as an actress because I heard that she was really annoying the cast of the Avengers, and she just wasn't getting along good. She started making like these really like pushing like you all are sexist or whatever for literally no reason. And
Oh
so I saw
yeah,
the movie, and I know she's a good actress because I actually saw her in this other film with Michael B. Jordan. I can't remember the name, but it was a really good movie. No, Just Mercy. It was a really good movie, and she acted great in it. So I don't know what it
yeah,
was, but her performance just wasn't. And this still holds true, even though I think she is a strong actress. She wasn't very good in this, and I don't really
yeah.
know
I
why.
had the same thing. Not only was the performance weak, but the character was terribly written. For me, Brie Larson, she's good in other stuff like Room and that film you were talking about, but she just didn't work in this role, and she didn't work with the whole vibe of the Avengers. But I hate how the character's written because the whole point of her character is like, oh, she has to keep in all her emotions. She doesn't know her past, so she comes off so bland and generic that
Whoa, we
it's
haven't
not.
seen that before.
Yeah, it's literally the number one rule of a superhero movie is not to do an amnesia plotline.
Oh my god,
Don't do an amnesia plotline. Did you learn anything from Spider-Man 3? God.
I can't. But like I just but then again though, I'm not the best person to say this for because I crucially hate myself for ever thinking that Vision and Scarlet Witch were boring characters.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
I
Um,
literally I punched myself. I couldn't believe I ever thought that.
Captain Marvel is the definition of a boring character. She is the weakest character in her title film, and I wish that
And the
she
thing
could have
is
been
though,
better.
she
You
has
can,
the
uh,
coolest powers. She
she's,
has
but it doesn't feel earned when she kind of comes out and has all the powers. Yeah, it looks cool, but it's not earned because she hasn't had the steps and the character development.
something
They
that really
tried.
yeah, something that really annoys me is say someone like Thor. Both of them are have been judged by a bunch of Marvel fans, like who's more powerful. Personally, I think Thor, but that's not the thing here. What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
I get more invested in Thor, even though there's much more to learn about Captain Marvel's powers. I'll easily learn more from Thor because he has an amazing actor, amazing personality, and I just get into this performance so much. I want to know more about his powers, and even though Captain Marvel's powers are cool as hell, I don't care enough about this character to dive into it, you know?
it wasn't a good start to the character, but then again, I feel like she can get better. For me,
I think so too. Yeah.
I wasn't a. I really liked Chris Evans's Captain America, but I didn't love him until Winter Soldier. I felt Doctor Strange wasn't amazing until Infinity War. You know what I
No,
mean?
I thought Doctor Strange was always great.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the Doctor Strange film. It's not bad by any stretch, but it's just a bit middle of the road Marvel to me. But
Well, this isn't a
you know,
Doctor Strange review, but what I say to that is I like it because I thought Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job and the visual effects were amazing.
is that a season 3 film?
Probably season 4 because we already have so many movies.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get to that later. But I feel like we've basically said the thing with Captain Marvel is that she's the weakest character in this film. She was poorly written,
And
and for her debut film, what
that's
annoys
not
me
good
most
when
is
you're
that
the weakest
yeah,
character in your own movie.
she annoys me as well because they try to bring her in and be like, oh, she survived the snap and she's gonna be one of the ones to fight Thanos. And little Endgame thing, spoiler. I'm so glad she wasn't the one to defeat Thanos.
Same. She tried, but nah.
Yeah, I can't. I almost laugh when Thanos used the Power Stone to punch her.
I did laugh. I mean, what do you mean
That was
almost?
that was a funny moment. And then of course Tony does the great thing. Captain Marvel was better in Endgame, but she's just a bit too cocky for me.
So let's move on to the rest of the characters, or should we talk about
Yeah.
story?
I feel like we should talk about the plot around Captain Marvel. And honestly, it's not that bad.
It's not a bad plot, especially when you're talking about the scrolls.
Yeah.
They were the highlight of the films, but it's just the whole plot itself. It's just if it was centered around a more likable character, then it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah, I feel like the story itself is fine. The one thing I don't like is that, oh, we're making it about the Tesseract again. It's another film about an Infinity Stone. It's like
Yeah.
that kind of annoys me. And Ronan didn't need to be there. He was forced in the film. But the
That was
plot
a
is,
very last minute thing, yeah.
yeah, the plot of the film was fine though. You know what I mean? The whole '90s feel. It was nice to go to the '90s.
I
That's a,
thought I also like some of the side characters. Like I'm telling you, Captain Marvel was like the
is
most
the worst.
uninteresting character.
She's Captain Marvel is the worst character in Captain Marvel. I think we've got to talk next about the co-star of this film, Nick Fury, aka Samuel Jackson.
I really wish they
Samuel
would
Jackson.
de-age him the way they did because it was so distracting. But the whole performance itself was great.
I disagree. I don't. I think the de-aging is quite good. To be fair.
It was good. It was just distracting because it's clear that this is all CGI.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who like the CGI stuff doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I
This
mean, the
is
first time I saw it, it was fine, but the second time when I had a huge screen, I could start
yeah.
seeing the computer, and I was like,
Yeah, I know you haven't seen Rogue One, but basically at Multisport, there's a Carrie Fisher died, right?
yes.
So they have a younger Princess Leia in one of the scenes, and they use CGI.
Yeah, well, they did that. Well, I've seen that in they did that in Rise of Skywalker too.
CGI of those two, to be fair. Like,
Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, CGI really doesn't affect me.
Yeah, no, but that's when they put like so much into it. Like this was like I know you haven't seen these, but this was like the It movies where they uncomfortably de-aged them to the point where it's so unbelievable. Yeah. But with Nick Fury, I think it was passable. It wasn't good, yeah. But it was passable.
I would much prefer Batman having someone else play Nick because Samuel was amazing in the role.
Well, I agree. I would much prefer Samuel just continue playing Nick, even if that means
the character is fantastic. He has some great moments. It's good to see a more energetic Nick Fury. But one thing I've got to mention about Nick Fury is, oh my god, one of the biggest Marvel questions: how did Nick lose his eye? It's explained.
That was so
in a joke.
So excruciating.
That is some WandaVision level disappointment.
Oh my god, yes.
Which we'll talk about that at a later date when we do a WandaVision episode at some point, but which will be on the Ray Rates podcast. Little spoiler there. Why?
That really ticked me off. Like, cause like ever since Winter Soldier, it was like, oh, there was like and the way Nick Fury said it was like there was this big betrayal or whatever, and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be so hyped up.
Which it should have been. That's one of the many problems with this film. It's just got a few things, and it's something in Marvel that a lot of people complain that Marvel used too many jokes, but sometimes jokes work. For example, Ragnarok does it
That's what
brilliantly.
made me love Marvel,
Yeah.
because with the DCEU, it's just dark and action and gritty. For the MCU, that's why I love Shazam, by the way, because in the MCU, it's like it's bright sometimes, it's action packed, it's
But
funny, it's
it does have
likable.
character and emotion as well. So it has a good.
And that's why with the DCEU, I love films like Shazam, the Wonder Woman. I love Birds of Prey, even though you haven't seen it. Suicide Squad, even it wasn't even that bad because there was some comedy in it.
You need comedy in a superhero film, but you
do.
need to know where the line is between a joke and a serious moment, which Ragnarok.
Deadpool crossed that in a million times.
Ragnarok did this perfectly, where you had the serious stuff of Thor losing his eye and Odin's death and stuff, but then you've also got
And so did Guardians of the Galaxy, when like Peter lost his mom into like going
Groot's
into
death
being an adult.
yeah. But
It was
but
just
Captain Marvel did not do that well, and I feel like we've got to talk about some of the other supporting characters. So we'll talk about Maria and Monica, the Rambos. Let's start with Maria. What do you think of Maria?
well, Maria. The most interesting thing about Maria is that there's theories that she and Carol had an affair, but other than that, I literally don't remember her.
But that would have been funny though if they were actually a thing and then Carol forgot everything.
Oh my God.
That would have added more depth to Carol Danvers in this movie.
But Disney's too scared to talk about that.
Finn and Poe can't be together because
that's a whole story. That's a whole other story.
Rise of Skywalker episode incoming. Anyway, so yeah, I have a bit of a problem with Monica Rambeau in this. I feel like her dialogue is stuff that a kid her age wouldn't say, and it seems so forced. Like this is obviously dialogue at times.
Yeah, with Monica or Maria?
Monica.
Monica, yes. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, yeah, Monica, but like again, we know what made her more interesting, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in this, I do agree. I think that the kid who played her was actually pretty good.
She was good compared to a lot of child actors, but her dialogue was not good in my opinion.
I do agree. She talked more in Expedition than actual character.
I think Maria's actress does a pretty good job of portraying the character as well. A lot better than Brie Larson.
Yeah. Oh, literally anyone in this film was better.
The cat was better than Brie Larson.
The cat.
Oh my God, the cat.
It's not a cat, it's a furby.
Yeah, the Flurkin. Oh my God. So random thing, but we actually own a ginger cat. He's a bit naughty, so we call him a Flurkin most of the time. So
I own a tiger cat.
That's great. Yeah, we're big cat fans in this house, and we've got a dog. And
I got a dog too. She's right here sleeping with me.
Are you enjoying the episode, dog?
We tired her out the minute we started.
Oh my God, that's good. Right, now, another character, before we talk about interesting character, let's talk about the second worst character, the villain. I'm talking about the dude.
Right! This is another great actor who just didn't even try in this film. Jude Law is a great actor, but what did he do? Oh my God.
This was so pathetic. He's the most lame character in the movie ever. Like at the beginning, they introduce him as like, okay, he's a strict mentor, and then he just disappears for most of the film because he's looking for Carol, and then he's just the villain, and Carol beats him so easily. He's the worst antagonist.
Oh my God. Well, he's not, by Marvel standards, he's just forgettable at best. But
there's Malekith. Let's just.
I can't. He was just so aggravating. Again, Brie Larson and Jude Law are great actors, but I don't know what they just didn't try in this Marvel that was going to make $1 billion. It just didn't
and it
try.
did make $1 billion.
It did. Okay, it only made. People say Marvel's so excited that Captain Marvel 2 is coming out because they think that Captain Marvel made $1 billion because we were excited to see it. It was because it was the film before Endgame, and we all know there's going to be an important post-credit scene. That's why half of us saw it.
And there wasn't an important post-credit scene.
Well, there kind of was. That it showed her going in.
We all knew she would join the team, though. There was no point waiting for that. Like,
But anyway, so we're at the
20.
We're at the 19-minute 45-second mark.
So I think it's time
So
we move on to some of the other stuff in the film, like action and the visual
yes,
effects.
I'll give it this. Again, like this is for every Marvel movie, including the snooze fest that was Incredible
Yeah.
Hulk. The action isn't that bad. It's actually
Action
really
is
cool.
always good in a Marvel film because they have a big budget to make this cool stuff. And
It's like the Pixar movies. Even when they have a flop, you know the animation's gonna
Cars
be great.
2, awful
Yeah,
movie.
the Cars 2, they still had good animation
Because
though. You have to admit the
yeah,
backgrounds are
it
really
looks
nice.
good and all the designs of the stuff and all the cities, you know.
So like Marvel, whenever even if the movie's not as good as the other, all the action is usually really
Action
great.
will always be fantastic in Marvel films, and the scene where Carol gets her powers finally, it's a good scene, but it isn't earned, which is the problem. If her character's better, be a
I'll
lot
say
better.
this though, the CGI really, it's unlike Guardians of the Galaxy. Not the first one, not the second one. The first one, when they knew that they shouldn't use too much CGI or else it's gonna look too in your face. The second one, but the way that they did in the first one is actually really clever. This I kind of felt like they went a bit overboard with CGI, but you can't
Yeah,
really blame them because Captain Marvel's powers is all
it's
CGI.
it's mental. Like you need a big budget to make that character. Like you could never. It's like putting Scarlet Witch in a TV show. It's like you need a big budget to do her powers and all that stuff.
Exactly.
It's not like Falcon and Bucky, for example, where you don't need a massive budget for them.
Well, you do kind of make like all the action in the
Yeah,
sets,
but
you know,
it's
look
not. They
impressive.
don't have
I
as
agree.
explosive powers as say your Doctor Strange.
I do agree though. Yes.
Now we didn't talk about two characters earlier: Talos and the Skrulls and Marvel. So
Oh, okay. Other than Marvel, I think the Scrolls and Talos in particular, I loved them. They were the best
they
part
were.
of the film. They were so interesting. I loved Talos. He was so likable. And I wanted this movie to be about them and just how they got here. And
Yeah, a movie about which is going to be Secret Invasion.
oh my god.
Yeah, which is
No, but I thought they were so well written and just so well
they
acted. Like
were.
I felt for these people, and they were on screen for like 5 minutes the
When
whole
they were
scroll scene.
reunited, it was an amazing scene. You know what I mean? When you have to,
Oh, when he was reunited with his son or daughter, I can't
yeah.
remember what gender.
Oh,
It made me want to tear up. It was sad. I loved it.
it was a fantastic moment, and there are moments like that in Captain Marvel. You've got some great
There
stuff.
are.
Any scene with the cat, is, apart from the part where he takes Nick's eye, is fantastic. I love the moment when he goes all flirting on the people. And
There was one underrated joke where it was like, remember how Nick had like held him up and he
yeah,
just like did the flirting thing to the bad
yeah.
guys. I remember when the Scrolls were shapeshift as the bad guys, the Flurkin knew this, but Nick and Maria didn't. So Nick put him up, and the cat just stood there. He's like, "I'm not doing shit."
Oh, that was great. Yeah, comedy is always good in Marvel films. Although the comedy I
So
would say
yeah.
compared to other Marvel films is weak in Captain Marvel, but you do have a few good laughs, and as always,
Oh my god, not even this doesn't compare to some of the other comedy in the Marvel films, but
especially compared
it
to the
does
films
try.
we've done so far in Disney, right, with Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, okay, Guardians and Ragnarok are the funniest Marvel films. You can't compete with
Yeah,
them.
there's some others up there like the Spider-Man ones, and
Yeah, like the Ant-Man films, the Spider-Man films, even the Avengers movies can compete. But Guardians and Ragnarok are just amazing.
absolutely. But Captain Marvel doesn't even compete up there. But Marvel, I don't hate the character, but she could have been better.
Another good actress who actually, this is one of the only good actresses in the film that actually gave her talent. She actually tried.
Yeah, and the whole
Given what she was given was kind of crap. She still tried. I'll give her
the
that.
whole thing with her wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. No, I actually was interested in her whole
I
thing,
wish
but
Carol was better, and I think I may sound
exactly.
like a broken record, but Captain Marvel's
I'm
biggest
telling you,
problem is Captain Marvel.
this whole film would have been a million times better if the character was just either better acted or better written or more likable.
Both, you know.
All of them,
I
yeah.
just hope Captain Marvel 2, it's based on some of the stuff that happened in WandaVision. Hopefully, Captain Marvel 2 can be better.
I absolutely agree. I'm crossing my fingers that Captain Marvel 2 is going to be a continuation of WandaVision.
I hope they make it work, and of course we've also got like Secret Invasion, which will have the Skrulls in there, Monica, which I'm quite excited. So we talked about like the visuals, the comedy.
Yeah.
I feel like
So if we so I think we're at the 25-minute mark. So I think this is a good place to wrap up, and then we can quickly talk about the other stuff because we have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
we've got a lot to talk about, yeah. So I feel like we should do our overall thoughts on Captain Marvel.
Yes. Overall, it's not the worst Marvel film. It's the fourth worst, but it's not the worst. I wish everything I think could have been picked up if the Captain Marvel was just written better or just more likable with the performance. And I wish that it was more focused. I wish it was just better written in general and wasn't so boring. Maybe some more comedy, who knows? But I think everything else, I think all this, for most part, the co-stars are great. The action was pretty good. The visuals are always stunning. And all in all, I think it's a decent film to check out. It's not the worst, but it's not nearly the best either. So
yeah, I personally think it's the fifth worst Marvel. I think it's a bit better than Iron Man 2, but that's a story for another day. Captain Marvel is a decent enough Marvel film with some interesting action, a few really likable co-characters, but the lead just is disappointing. There's a few writing errors in the film that could have been more explored. One thing I don't.
I'll say this
Yeah.
actually. Iron Man 2 has the opposite problem. It's where the main character is so interesting and so likable, and everything else is a downgrade.
Yeah, and one thing I don't like how they kind of force it. Let's set up the Avengers at the end, and it's like we know how the Avengers were formed. It's like this film tries to fill in boxes that we already knew. It's like the Star Wars thing, where it's like let's explain every little detail and do all these shows to explain every point of the timeline. You know what I mean? As good as the Obi-Wan show will be, it's like let's see what Obi-Wan was doing on 19 years in Tatooine. I'm sure it'll be great, and we're all excited for it. But it's like, is it really necessary?
At least it'll be with Ewan.
Yeah,
That's all I
it's
care
still
about.
Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, so that's fine. But
it was just his birthday 2 days ago.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, he turned some age. I don't know.
He turned some age.
I think he's 50 actually.
Jesus. Well, yeah, he's quite old.
Yeah, he's 50.
Oh, Jesus, 50 years old and he's still going strong. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Ewan is amazing. How have we got on to Ewan McGregor?
How did I get onto
No,
it?
I just don't know how we've gone from Captain Marvel to that in a few minutes.
Know.
But yeah, overall, it's a decent movie. It's got a lot of flaws, but it does make up for it with some likable co-stars and some pretty good action and comedy and that stuff. But that's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
It's a decent Marvel film.
Yeah.
So next is time I feel like we move on to the Rotten Tomatoes prediction segment, which
Hooray.
I reckon you know the score. Now, if you don't,
I already do, and let me just say this: this is the only Marvel film to have a bad review on the audience side.
Wait, what?
It's the only Marvel film to ever get below a 50, which is considered below a 60, which is considered a bad review on the audience side.
That's understandable. For the Dark World, people like that film.
Thor: The Dark World is still above a 60, so that's still a good review.
Yeah, because it goes like that, doesn't it? I think Captain Marvel. You said the audience is low. I bet critics are a bit higher. I think 64.
Higher.
Oh, what is it? Let me tell me.
79.
79. Jesus, they just love Marvel. I swear Kevin Feige pays them.
At least Nostalgia Critic isn't blind. I saw his review. He doesn't like it.
I think a lot of reviewers don't like it, and I'll definitely say it is one of the lower tier Marvel films, which I think it's universally agreed. This film is definitely one of the weakest, whether you really like it. I saw someone say it was the best Marvel film. And it was like a feminist or something who.
That's hilarious.
No, but it was a feminist as well. It's like, oh, it's a female superhero. It's automatically the best one.
you want to watch a good female superhero-led film, then watch freaking Wonder Woman, for
Wonder
God's
Woman.
sake. Not the second one, but watch Wonder Woman.
Or even watch The Incredibles 2. That's technically Elastigirl's the main character, and it's better than Captain Marvel. I still don't think it's perfect. It's definitely.
Or watch the female Ghostbusters.
Even that was better than Captain freaking Marvel.
No, that was more funny though.
Yeah, that's probably worse than it. To be fair, I've not seen it, but I know all about the controversy in it. So are we going to be doing like the whole stupid review thing?
Well, that depends. Well, first, before we completely move from Captain Marvel, should we look at what the people on Amino have to say about it?
Yeah. So it's time for the poll section. This is the section of the show where Amber puts out a poll for a certain audience of people, normally over 100 or close to 100, and they give their opinion whether it's great, good, bad, awful, or they haven't seen it. Which, if you're in a Marvel Amino and you've not seen it, what's wrong with you?
I know, right? So I posted only on my Disney account because the Marvel account's going kind of slow now because there hasn't been any Marvel content, so many people haven't been on the Marvel Amino. So I only posted on my Disney account, and I got 50 votes. And I said thoughts on Captain Marvel. So the majority was 36% said haven't seen it, because that's usually what happens with Marvel movies when I post them. 28% went to good. 18% went to just 12% said it was great, and 6% said it was bad.
Okay. I just want to say that there's a good percent of people who say this is a great film.
I don't.
Were you paid by Kevin Feige to say that?
I said it was good. I voted good.
Yeah, I'd say it's okay. So like kind of the middle of air and good.
Yeah. Okay. So for a while, I got one comment, and because for a while, nobody said it was great, and the majority went for or bad. And that was for like a good while that happened, because I was kind of following the poll.
Yeah.
And then somebody commented, who's also on my Marvel account. His name is Star-Lord Man Legendary Outlaw. That's his user. He said, "A damn great film that got mercilessly bullied by a bunch of misogynist morons."
Okay. Right. I'll give it this. Like the Ghostbusters remake, Brie Larson got unnecessary bullying. I don't like Rose Tico, played by Kenny Tran, but I wouldn't send death threats, for God's sake. So.
Brie Larson was more of the victim. Like, yeah, that happened, but she was being a freaking annoying little freaking thing.
Like, I think people did take it too far, though, as they usually do with this whole cancel culture and all that.
Yeah.
Like, she should never have got like death threats and stuff because she was annoying. Like,
even though it's not that big
but
a deal.
You can't say it was great just because people bullied it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So we've done the poll. Is it Big Rank Ball time, or are we going to do Disney news first?
Okay, let's talk about only one of them let's just talk about WandaVision for now, because Falcon Winter Soldier, we haven't even seen the third episode yet, so we can't really say our things yet.
I might be seeing it after this, depending on what happens.
Not me. You're over there. It's almost like what, 6 or 7 for you?
It's 2 minutes to 7.
Yeah.
So
2 minutes to 2.
Yeah, and you're like 5 hours before me.
Anyway, okay, so I say let's talk about a bit of WandaVision, because we're just going to give our quick thoughts, because we're going to be talking about WandaVision. We're going to be doing a full review. I'm pretty sure it'll be spoiler. I will let you know before the episode starts on my channel, because I have my own podcast too, and it's called Ray Review. No, it's Ray Rates Movies. You can find it anywhere podcasts you can find. Free. Watch it. Cool.
10 out of 10 sponsor right there.
Oh, thank you.
Go, everyone check out Ray Rates. It's a good podcast, and
just watch it.
And even if you don't like Amber, I'm on there in a couple episodes, so don't worry.
Oh, okay. I see how it is, dude.
I'm
Oh
joking.
my
I'm
god.
joking. Right. So,
It literally took me a second to understand what you were saying, but then I was like, wait a minute.
okay. So let's get on to One Division. So One Division. Quick thoughts. What did you think of it?
WandaVision was spectacular. This whole concept was so original. It was so original. What the twists, the turns, the surprises, everything caught me off guard. The characters were all amazing. Just the whole thing, everything was just great, and that's my quick thoughts.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple things that I didn't like, which is why I only gave the show a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh my god, you really didn't like it that much?
No, that's still a really good review.
No, it's not. That's like a C.
Okay, it's at least an 8, but there's a couple things that I didn't like, but I really enjoyed the concept. Most of the
There was
sitcom,
stuff there was stuff in the finale that really ticked me off, but again, that'd be spoilers, and we're not going to say anything.
yeah,
But for me, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 because the concept was just so original, and I just loved it so much. Really, it didn't bother me that much, especially something. I'll text you this later, actually, because
yeah.
I'm not going to spoil anything. But something came up that really made me happy, and I'll text you about it later.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna point out, of course, we all know Batman shows up in the finale of One Division.
Oh my god, of course.
Yeah, I was really shocked at that reveal, but no, I really enjoyed the concept, a lot of the sitcoms, and they made Wonder and Vision's character fantastic. Their relationship was amazing in this, and it was
I
just
can't believe I ever thought they weren't a
it
good
was a
couple.
fantastic show. The side characters and the twist they show, and they made a couple characters really good in this one, and you know, the action was good for what it was, and the drama and the horror. It was just really well done show.
100% recommended. And same with Falcon and Winter Soldier, because even though we've only seen the first 2 episodes,
Yeah,
I'll say this: the first episode, it's a little slow. It's really good, but it's with character and such, but it's a little slow. But episode two is
but
where very much picks up, and I've heard good things about episode
I,
three. So another
I
definite
really like the
recommendation.
character building stuff though in episode 1. I just hope their plot lines aren't kind of dropped because
Exactly.
like they kind of
But what can you expect from the
yeah
opening? You know,
they
pilot.
kind of set a bunch of stuff up